All right, guys, welcome back. Survival Living here. So yeah, out here with the solar generators and stuff. As a prepper, you always check your gear and make sure everything works properly. I am currently checking out a new solar generator, a new solar panel setup here. Got to do some testing with it before we do recommendation, but as you guys see, extra panels and stuff like that. As preppers, you need to make sure your equipment's working, functional. That includes making sure your solar panels can actually charge your system. If you've had solar generators for a few years, you need to make sure everything works on these things, because when you need them, you're going to need them. Let me go to the backyard, guys. We got some things to talk about. I got contacted by you guys. I guess people were upset with being said. I actually spoke to the person. I went over to their channel and talked with them. This disaster relief stuff that's going on right now with North Carolina. Okay, so I think it's just people just trying to start stuff between YouTube creators. Me personally, I believe that, because I know the person pretty well. I actually been on their channel before. But anyway, they were talking about the hurricane aid up there and how you have looky-loos, what I usually say. You know, people that go up there for photo ops, you know, they drop off some food and you don't know where this food's been and stuff like that. Yeah, I can understand that. Some people need to stay out of disaster areas. But I want to discuss a lot of that because being a person that goes through disaster, all right, this is Florida. I've done a lot of work as far as working in disaster areas. Work with, you know, usually I don't talk about what all I do. Most of the time we don't film any of it. The only time we ever film our charity stuff and disaster relief and stuff like that is when we've had to come up here and ask for help from you guys. You know, we just don't have the funding to do it. So we come up here, get a PayPal funding, and then of course we film what we're doing so that you guys know, hey, well, this is what we're doing. We never took a paycheck from this, ever. I get paid by YouTube as a YouTube creator. I work a real freaking job. I work multiple jobs. I'm a mechanic by trade. I am a welder by trade. So, jack of all trades, knuckle dragger. All right. So with what's being said, and everybody has their own opinion, things like that, that's okay. You know what, let me set this tripod down and have a seat. Oh yeah, good old coffee. All right, so, you know, it's kind of blindsided me a little bit, but not too much, because I know where this is originally coming from, and I know the person, and, you know, watch their video. It makes a lot of sense, but there are some things I want to discuss because, like I said, you guys here in the community reached out to me. The individual that came out with the video about people that are not part of FEMA, you know, not part of aid organizations and stuff, should not be going to disaster zones to help. They should just donate to FEMA organizations, but, you know, only organizations that are official organizations and stuff. That wasn't directed at me, guys. I know the person personally. I know what they're saying. It makes a lot of sense because you do have a lot of people that go in disaster zones for photo ops. They'll drop off some food, stuff like that, if they even do that. Now, social media is a beast in its own. All right. Unfortunately, you know, I see a lot of stuff online where people want to turn other creators against each other, you know, start stuff. That's not the case here at all. I'm actually pretty good friends with the individual. I've been on their channel before. I support their channel a lot. You know, I like them a lot. So we're not even going to get into all of that because that's a nothing burger, but there's some great points that he actually brought up in his video, guys. People that don't know what they're doing should stay out of disaster zones. Yeah, absolutely. To give you guys a little bit of background history stuff, guys, you know, I'm a prepper, all right? I'm an outdoor survivalist. I'm a certified trainer. I have my own survival course. Right now it's just on the back burners with everything with my custody stuff, court costs, let's put it that way. with my job schedule, because I work multiple jobs. I work a full-time job, I work turn wrenches at the house for extra income, and I run a YouTube channel. So yeah, always busy. I had people ask me if I was going to be going to North Carolina. No, I'm not going to North Carolina, guys. Everything that's going on here at my home, I can't. If I go up to North Carolina to do hurricane aid, even though, yeah, I got supplies and stuff like that, I would lose my job. I'd lose my home. I would lose my custody battle, showing that willy-nilly I'll just take off and go anywhere and not take my responsibilities, you know. So yeah, I won't be doing anything like that. It's just wrong time in my life to even attempt that. Have I done relief aid? Absolutely, I have. Like I said, most of the stuff we don't discuss here on the channel. This is stuff that I try teaching my sons. When you do stuff, that's you doing stuff, all right? You don't grab your camera and stuff like that and, hey, post on Facebook, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Now, in the past, I have been on Facebook and I have used the channel to bring awareness to areas. If I'm like doing a warm shelter thing during the Christmas holidays, when I'm speaking to the people that's running the show and they're like, man, we don't have enough people here to help, yeah, I'll get on here, I'll use my social media powers, and I'll bring attention. We had one of those situations 2 years ago during Christmas. The temperature dropped. It was ice down here in Panama City. I mean, it was that freaking cold. We do have a homeless shelter population here, a homeless population. And unfortunately, the shelters were not ready for this. They were still working on some. So there was a school that opened up. We didn't have enough volunteers. I used my social influence, and we actually had some people show up because of that. They were there, right there with me during this. They were there helping. They were in the kitchen with me cooking. They were there all night long providing security, making sure everyone was safe, everyone was sleeping, you know, because unfortunately we couldn't have independent sleeping arrangements. Everyone had to use the same room and stuff. So to keep people safe, you had to have people awake, watching, you know, make sure everyone's okay. So yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, I've used my film powers for that. Talked about Fort Myers hurricane. Yeah, I filmed that one because I actually asked you guys for help. I couldn't financially do everything myself. Now, I was going down there either way. I had supplies, I had some money, and I knew I'd make an impact, but I asked for additional help and I received it. The teams that I use are just like me, former military, all right? When I go into disaster zone, it's not just because I'm a YouTuber and think I'm all good and all this other stuff. No, I've actually had search and rescue training. I've had CPR training, I've had first aid, I have stop the bleed training. I have the backing to actually be of help instead of a hindrance towards people, all right? I've lived through many disasters. I've helped in many disasters as far as I can remember. As a younger kid, there's a thing called Civil Air Patrol, where we trained and we learned how to add aid for downed planes, things like that. We're doing all kind of disaster stuff. So even at a young age, I was already doing that. Learn how to search for cadavers, let's put it that way. So yeah, if you don't know what you're doing, it's best to stay out of disaster zones, absolutely, because you can get yourself hurt, you can get others hurt, you can get yourself trapped. A lot of things can happen, absolutely. As far as leave it up to the quote-unquote professionals, FEMA, no, that's not conspiracy as a prepper about FEMA's bad. American Red Cross. I have been in disaster zones doing aid, and FEMA has never showed up. Not the entire time I was there. There was nobody coming in with truckloads of water. There were no distribution points. If there was a distribution point of some type of major aid that has come through, and usually it's been a corporation. A lot of people give Walmart shit, but Walmart's actually delivered water a lot to locations. As a matter of fact, Mission Barbecue, you know, when we're down there at Fort Myers, They even came in and, dude, we got all this food and stuff. Because when we're in operation, we were actually feeding people in that area. We were feeding people, giving them supplies, just like the apartment building next to where we're set up. Their roof was gone. They had nowhere to go. The landlord that owned the place at the apartment complex was threatening to kick them out, was trying to kick them out. They had nowhere to go. Freaking water all over the ground still. We were able to provide blankets, ways of cooking food, solar generators, what ones I had on hand. You know, when people say must be nice, it is, because a lot of that stuff goes towards our hurricane relief, goes to our disaster relief. Have I sold a few? Yeah, sure I have. We were able to cook hot meals for people non-stop, just constantly go. And like I said, everybody that was involved with our group, you know, we even tagged up with another group, former military, is people that are trained to respond. It's not just a bunch of people running around with their cameras and stuff. Most of the time, if you guys actually watch my videos from that, you'll see my video footage might be a minute or a minute 12 seconds long, because I didn't have time to play with the camera. I had, what, 4 burners running constantly with spaghetti or green beans, corn. I was constantly cooking, did not stop. Every once in a while, I don't know, every couple hours, I'd sneak off and go smoke a cigarette and go find a place to actually go relieve my bodily functions when I needed to. And it was hot down there. So yeah. I don't like it when people point stuff when I'm trying to do what's good, and people point at it. Well, how much money did you pocket? Not a damn thing. Actually, I spent nearly half of what came in financially from everybody here. Half of that came from my own pocket. So yeah, we didn't take a check. It cost us. I'm not going to go into details with the other members that were there, but it cost them out of their own pocket. We use our training, we use our skill, we use our preps, we use our knowledge of disaster preparedness and disaster response to operate and do something. We'll take Fort Myers as an example again. There was plenty of workers moving around. Most of those guys, nothing to eat, no fresh water to drink. Distribution centers that were dropping water off were so far away, people couldn't get to it. And other people would come in with pickup trucks, load up water, and drive in these flood zone areas to start dropping off water to people, food and stuff. So I see the point that, you know, you should be careful where food and water is coming from. But I'll tell you right now, it is a blessing when you've been sitting there knee deep of water for 3 days, no power, nothing in these disaster zones, and you got some old knuckle dragger come rolling in with a pickup truck with warm blankets, food, water, gasoline, something to get you better off. It's a blessing. And those gift horses, you know, you just don't look it in the mouth. That's God coming and sent that person there for a reason. So I don't fully agree with some of the comments and stuff that I'm seeing about that. Well, you're not FEMA, you're not what's the other one? American Red Cross. No, I'm not, nor will I ever be. Have I worked with these groups before? Sure. Have I signed up with Cajun Navy? Yeah, sure. You know, a good one is Grindstone Ministry of Bear Independence. You know, he's got a bigger following. He's got a great outreach program. You know, that's awesome. You know, they actually came down here and helped out with Hurricane Michael. Yeah, big thing, because not many people were down here, and I had family down here at the time. So wrap all this stuff up, guys, because I'm kind of rambling. If you're going to give aid and you want to actually do the physical work, yeah, you can join FEMA and stuff like that if you want to. That's up to you. There are some Christians organization that they get a tax break and stuff like that for charity work. Me, when I do my charity work, I never file charity stuff on my taxes, ever. I do it because I'm doing it. I know what's right. But before you go into a disaster zone, you need to have the training to do so as well. All right? You can get yourself hurt. You can get other people hurt. All right? You can get yourself trapped. You can mess up all kind of stuff. So make sure you have your ducks in a row before you start doing it. But I'm not going to come up here ever and tell people that if you're not part of an organization, you have no place to be out there helping. Because I've had people help me in my past come out of left field, out of nowhere, and it was a blessing. I know for a fact that we helped out a lot of people when we do our disaster relief, when we do our homeless shelter work. I know it helps out a lot of people. So yeah, I don't agree with that, not at all. Anyway, guys, with her North Carolina stuff, we're not going. I got a lot of stuff to do here. All right, we got more storms coming down here. I'm not going to be away from my family. I'm not going to leave a disaster zone or potential disaster zone to go run into another one. Just not going to do that. To each their own. I didn't appreciate some of the people that tried to stir up something between me and a fellow YouTube creator. Come on, guys, y'all know better than that. I might not agree with everything he says, but I agree with a lot of stuff he says. But if you want to do work, you want to help people, hey, you can do it. I don't see nothing wrong with that. There's no rule that says you have to be this and you have to be that to go help somebody in need. Anyway, guys, I'm going to finish my coffee. I got some more work to do. Today's Saturday, but I got more work right here, my other job. All right, guys, definitely appreciate y'all hanging out with me. You know, most of your charity work and stuff like that, guys, unless you're trying to bring attention to it to grow it bigger, you know, like get more funds for more work and more supplies and stuff like that, most of that stuff, guys, you fly underneath the radar, and most people do. They do. For the ones Instagram, you know, gun bunnies and stuff like that run up there, take a little photo op and, you know, haul ass, yeah, that's not cool. That's not cool at all. Anyway, guys, appreciate y'all hanging out. I'll speak to y'all later.